Okay, so I'm just gonna take off the Bluetooth. There we go. Da-da-da. Well, now I play the waiting game. 3, 2, 1. Hi guys, welcome. Sorry. Hi everyone. Welcome back to my live stream. Happy Tuesday. Well, I think it's time to explain what's been going down. So okay, so recently, for the past few days, I have had a whirlwind of so much going on. Um, okay, I think it's best if I just explain like what had happened to me for these past 3 days to basically be like, oh, okay, this is new. Okay. So the first thing that had happened to me was Sunday morning when I left to go to work. And here, if those who don't know, my job involves me waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, take that what you will. So when I woke up that morning, and then as I was leaving to get ready to drive to work, I had walked into a cobweb apparently, and yeah, it was not pretty. Let's just say that. It was not pretty. I had walked into a cobweb and it was just very uncomfortable. I mean, if you know what it's like to walk in a cobweb, then you know what it's like to walk in a cobweb. Like that is not fun. Especially when it's like very dark around you, meaning like it's very dark outside or inside or wherever you walk into and there's a cobweb. Yeah, that's very uncomfortable. But apparently that was just one part of the excitement to my morning that day. Well, that morning. So basically here's what happened. So as I was on the road driving to work, hi. So as I was driving to work, all of a sudden I felt this thing, something crawl across my face, and I was just like, ugh. And then I realized, oh, I must have a spider on me or something, and that legit what had happened. um, yeah, I thought I felt a spider on me, so I had to stop and check look at myself in the mirror to see where it was because I felt something crawl on my face. So when I'm what crawled across your face? A spider. A spider crawled across my face. Okay, hold on. I'm just getting to the part. So when okay, so I had turned off the light to the mirror in the car, and I was just like, okay, I'm almost at work. It's all gonna be fine. It's all gonna be fine. Until I felt something crawl across the back of my neck. Okay? And I was just like, ugh. And so I took my left hand and I smacked the back of my neck um very hard. And then basically I did this thing where like I was going like I was tearing something like from the back. And then when I teared and then I looked at the bottom of my hand and I realized there was a spider. There was an actual spider. Take that what you will. Yeah. So did I? No, I'm alive, aren't I? I'm alive. No. So here's also one thing that after I did that, I then threw like I mean I killed the spider. So that was good. I killed it. But then I had to make sure what type of spider it was because like I said earlier in the live, um I didn't know. I had walked through the cobweb, and it was very dark outside because whenever I have to leave for work early in the morning, normally I have to leave around 5 a.m. on weekends or around 4:30 on the weekdays. But anyways, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't poisonous, so I had When I had reached the parking lot to my workplace, and it was just a few minutes before I had to clock in, I had went to check to see what type of spider it was, and well, I looked at it. It wasn't a black widow. Thank the Lord. It wasn't a black widow. It wasn't a it wasn't a brown recluse, and it wasn't a wolf spider. And the reason why I have all this acknowledgement of spiders, of course, is because when I was a kid, I did Boy Scouts, and in Boy Scouts, basically, they teach you the proper ways to tell the details of what is poisonous and what is not, specifically with spiders, snakes, etc. Um, was it a button spider? Probably. I don't know. Um, but anyways, so what happened next was I had basically just looked at it and I wanted to make sure that I didn't get bitten. I didn't get bitten because where I did find the spider was on the back of my neck, so I couldn't see I couldn't see it clearly. So I had to ask one of my coworkers who's working the front desk, who's about I think like 2 hours before he was off his shift that morning, and I had to ask him, "Hey, do you mind seeing if there's like a spider bite right here?" And he said, "Nope, there didn't seem to be one." So, and I figured, okay, there didn't seem to be a spider bite. Um, or at least what I thought. So, and throughout my shift, everything was pretty normal. Everything was pretty normal. Everything was okay. I wasn't feeling dizzy. I wasn't feeling tired. I wasn't feeling nauseated. I wasn't feeling anything um, after that. But it wasn't until one of my coworkers who was working the front desk after my previous coworker had got off, she said, after she heard about me having a spider on my neck, she said, "Hey, you know what? Take some hand sanitizer and rub it on the back of your neck to see if, if it stings, then basically it like bit you, but if it didn't, then at worst you might feel like a slight burn." And when I had applied the hand sanitizer to the back of my neck, I did feel something, but I couldn't tell if but it didn't feel like I don't know. And then basically what I explained was it kind of burns a little, and yeah, that's what. And when I told my coworker that, she said, "Well, most likely it bit you, but you're still here, you're still standing, you're still alive," which means it wasn't anything poisonous. It was probably just a regular spider of some kind. I don't know. But yeah. But yeah, so pretty much that's what happened. So it didn't bit you or what? So I had her look clearly more because my other coworker he works the full night shift where I work at, and he was basically tired, so he couldn't really tell. So I had her see it because she was working throughout the day, and when she saw it, she was like, okay, I don't see a bite, but if you're saying it stings, that means it may have actually bit you." But yeah, that's just me. So pretty much, I don't know. I mean, like I said earlier in the live, I felt it crawl across my face, and then later it started, I guess, crawling on the back of my neck. Um, but yeah, I couldn't tell. But yeah, so that pretty much is it. That was pretty much what had happened, and that was just my Sunday morning. And hey, it was 5 a.m., so what better way to wake up for work or right before you go into work at 5 a.m. in the morning than to have a spider crawl across your face. Um, okay, what was that other comment that was asking me about? What type of job do you have? I work at a hotel. I've already explained this like at a few in a few other lives here and there. I work at a hotel. I recently had my hotel yearly evaluation, which basically means that I had basically, I got reviewed for my first full year working at the hotel where I work at. Specifically, my job is I am a cook, I am a chef. I am a chef I am a chef at a hotel, and I specifically cook breakfast, me and another one of my coworkers, well, coworker. So me and my coworker, he and I both work together on the weekends, but weekdays, meaning Monday through Friday, we both work separately and on different shifts. So today basically was my day, but tomorrow and Thursday and Friday is his days, and then we're back to working together on Saturday and Sunday. I also get paid this week, so yeah. Um, Also, I basically had, well, I got a pay increase by $1, which I know for a fact, a lot of people are like, just $1? Huh, that's so, I don't, what is that? And basically, I was like, I mean, if I explain like how much money I make in an hour, before it was like $10, and now I make like $11 an hour. I mean, it's still enough money to help me pay my bills, so that's a good thing. And normally, the type of job I have working at the hotel, I end up basically working from 5 a.m. up until 11 a.m. or noon on most days. So I work 6, 7 hours a day. Yeah. But hey, it's fun because that also means I have my entire afternoon free. I mean, the only problem is I always have to go to bed early most days. And I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind having a job that allows me to wake up that early, but at the same time, I did not expect to have a job that involves me waking up so early. But also, I also said this to one of the guests who's asking me, what's it like waking up that early to come into work? And I said, you know what? I have a whole new respect for truckers specifically who have to get up really, really early to go places because truckers, if you know what truckers do for a living, you'd understand like their jobs have them basically like going places very early in the morning and they're gone for at least a few days throughout the week. And I don't know how often family members like deal with that, but yeah. So the spider bite thing, basically that had happened. Uh, and then I have another story that's basically, I guess, funny, that had happened. So also I base from what I'm guessing that Sunday, the same Sunday where basically I'd gotten a spider bite on me. Um, Apparently that was gonna be my worst Sunday ever. Um, so what happened was that right in the middle of my shift, and this was a Sunday, so me and my coworker were both together working. So we were so while we were working, we have this coffee machine where basically it allows us to make about like 3, 4 different coffees every few minutes or a few hours or so, depending on how much coffee we have in the serving area outside the kitchen. And yeah, so Sunday, here's what happened. So I had walked in and I saw that my coworker was messing around with the coffee machine and it was leaking a little bit, meaning it was leaking water. So while it was leaking some water, I thought, okay, we've dealt with that before. And normally what we do is we would clean up the little spills of water and pretty much it'd be gone like that, like all good, like, fresh, clean, all good, the whole shebang. But then, clearly, clearly we were in for a very rude awakening. So, um, when I thought we were clearing up some of the water, we had both turned our backs to like keep doing our jobs after figuring out that. But then when we turned around to get more coffee, we saw that there was more water just spilled all over the tables. And I was just like, we just cleaned off the counter with the coffee machine. And then the next thing I know, I mean, there is water spewing everywhere. It is getting on the table, it was getting on the floors, it was getting underneath the shelves. We had to get so many towels that I was going back and forth actually getting towels for the kitchen from the laundry room that the housekeeping and house cleaning um, work with because, well, housekeeping and house cleaning, they need a laundry machine, and the laundry machine and dryer in there are these two each large machines, and I don't know how they do it, but I respect. So anyways, while we were trying to get all the towels, the water just kept on spewing everywhere. And then my coworker had turned off the faucet in the back, and then we had to unplug the machine. And afterwards, we were both just like, this is not our day. This is just not our day. This is just not our morning. Yeah. So, anyways, um, the next day, well, okay. Let me just continue. So, pretty much after that, we had to get maintenance involved, and maintenance, we only have one maintenance guy who works with us. We used to have two completely different people before we have this current maintenance guy, but then one had left because he was moving away to college in another city, I believe, or he was doing something else. And then another one had to retire because he was just getting too many hours put in and the stress was just taking on his body. And so this new maintenance guy that we got, he's good, he's reliable, he's handy, he's amazing. Um, Good, Julia. Good. Mwah. Anyways, so when the maintenance guy went to go look at the coffee machine and realized what was going on, he had said, uh, well, looks like it needs to be fixed. And I looked at my coworker, me and my coworker who both work in the kitchen, well, pretty much just the two of us that work in the kitchen. I look at him, he looks at me, and we're just like, then how are we going to serve them coffee? How are we going to serve the guests coffee? Because I feel like this is a known fact. Like every morning, people need coffee to help them get up in the morning because it's caffeine and it wakes them up. And it was just, yeah, we basically were just like, how are we going to get through the day? And then my coworker, he remembered that we have kind of like this old-fashioned coffee maker that we have in the back also. So yeah, so he ended up trying using that, and I was just trying to make sure the guests weren't trying to, I don't know, kill each other over coffee. So yeah. So after that day's passed, we pretty much just after we clocked out, we all left and just went home after that. But then the next day was my day, so this was yesterday. And I had realized while I was cooking all the food by myself and also preparing the serving area all by myself, I forgot the coffee. So I figured, okay, I can make the coffee. I got some time, and to make coffee is like 5 minutes. So that's a good thing. But then I remember the machine is broken, and apparently it was still broken that day, even though someone told me that the maintenance guy was supposed to be fixing it that Sunday. So yeah, move. So yeah, so obviously he must have missed that or whatever. But yeah, so anyways, as I was trying to figure out how to get coffee, I remember we'd had that old-fashioned coffee maker, and meaning basically the one we have is pretty much like I don't know, like a kitchen coffee maker like from like the 90s or whatever. Now, I don't know how to actually use it. I only know how to use the coffee maker or the coffee machine that we have in the kitchen at the hotel. I do not know how to make coffee the old-fashioned way using something with that looked like it was from the 90s. So as I was trying to figure that out, it was about time, almost time for me to open up. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna make the coffee and see what happens. And after I'd opened up 5 minutes later, I went to go get the coffee because it was done, but I didn't want to serve it to the guests yet. So I had one of my coworkers who was still working the front desk. Now this one's a different coworker who was working the front desk, and I had asked her, "Hey, do you mind trying this coffee to see if it tastes good or not?" And she took one sip, and she was just like, and after she made that face, after she made that face, I was just like, "Is it bad?" And she said, "Yes." Like she wasn't playing, she wasn't beating around the bush. She was just saying, yes, it is terrible. And then I just threw that out because I did not know how to make coffee. Apparently, I can't make coffee the old-fashioned way, I should say. And yeah, that basically ruined my morning. And then I had to explain to all the guests why there wasn't any coffee. And that day, well, yesterday. And it wasn't until one of my other coworkers who was working front desk as well came in, helped me figure out the whole coffee thing, because apparently she knew how to use this specific type of coffee maker, and she was trying to help me. She was teaching me the ropes, and I was like, okay, this is all good. And I told myself, you know what? I'm just gonna remember all that for tomorrow, just so that I can make sure I don't mess this up this time for today, for the next day. And so, yeah, after she was explaining to me how it works, she told me, okay, so this is where the coffee filter goes. Um, this is where the coffee powdery stuff goes as well. And yeah, I was just like, okay, okay, I got it. I got it. I'll remember that for the next day, aka today or this morning. So yeah, fast forward to this morning. Today, basically while I was at work, I decided, I have to remember how to make the coffee again because not only did I have to make coffee that day, but also I had to make a ton of bacon today, and which is not actually my favorite day because legit, I think today basically wore me out while I was at work. So here's basically what happened. So while I was at work, since it was bacon day, I had to cook so much bacon. And well, when I was cooking the bacon, it was all fine. It was all okay. I also had other foods I was cooking and putting out, like potatoes and omelets and biscuits and gravy and the whole shebang. However, though, when it came to the coffee, something kind of surprised me. So I had walked in and I had seen a box with a coffee machine on it, and I was like, uh, what is this? What is this? And why is it like this? And or who got this or who brought this back here? And I didn't know who brought it. So yeah, but not only that, there was also a coffee pod machine that was in the back of the kitchen as well. And I was like, what? So we have a coffee machine or a coffee pot or whatever outside with the coffee stuff. And at the same time, we have a coffee pod filter. Let that sink in. Sorry, I had to scratch my head. Yeah. So continuing, while I was while I was trying to figure that out, I should have known that today was basically gonna wear me out. So while I was trying to cook all the food that day, meaning I was cooking a ton of bacon, a ton of omelets, a ton of eggs, a ton of biscuits and gravy and the whole shebang, all of a sudden the coffee had ran out, and I was like, oh, I thought this was gonna last throughout my shift. Son of a gun. And well, while that happened, I was trying to figure out like how to actually make the coffee. And at first I thought I did it right. I put the coffee filter in, I had done this, I had done that. I thought I did everything right. Nope, I did not. not, apparently, because one of the guests had come up to me and said, "Hey, I think this coffee looks very watery. Can you check it?" And I looked and I was like, I am so sorry." And well, I had to figure that out. And then after that had happened, one of my assistant managers came up to me, a very nice woman. She's a very nice assistant manager. She's a wonderful assistant manager. Um, so when she saw like what was going on in my brain and clearly I was stressing out, she basically said, "Hey, hey, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Here, we'll help you." And "What's going on?" And I said, "Okay, so the coffee is, I don't know what's going on." Because so I was explaining to her how I had walked into the kitchen this morning, and when I had saw what was in the kitchen and the new coffee machine, and I was just like, I wasn't aware we were actually getting this. No one told me anything. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get told by the manager. I didn't get told by none of my other coworkers. I did not get told by anybody. And when I was explaining this to her, and I was explaining how I was trying to figure out how to work the machine just by going off the pictures on it, because the directions were literally on the pictures. I couldn't find the actual paper that showed like how we were supposed to um, make the coffee or use the coffee machine. And when she had pretty much saw me pretty much going crazy, because not only was I trying to figure that out, but also I was trying to make sure that the food was still going, the pancake machine was operating, because the pancake machine that we have at my job pretty much likes to be funny, and that's air quotes. And when I mean be funny, I mean sometimes it wants to work and sometimes it doesn't want to work, and half the time I want to hit it with a bat, but I can't because it is expensive and I don't have like thousands and thousands of dollars in my bank account. Let's just say that. But yeah, but anyways, so while that was going on, my assistant manager decided to help me, but not only was she helping me, one of the housekeepers were also helping me by trying to figure out the coffee. Um, so while I was trying to explain uh while I was trying to explain or trying to understand how to work the coffee machine, I was also trying to take care of the foods that day. And basically I was looking at my manager and I was just like, I'm very thank you so much for helping me, but also I'm very sorry that I'm causing this much stress. And she looked at me and she said, "No, no, 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 it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine." And I said, "No, it's not, because I feel like I'm stressing everyone out. I feel like I'm doing everything badly. I feel like I'm sucking at my job, and I feel like at some point I am going to scream or explode." And that's pretty much what was actually going on in my head, actually, while I was at work. I actually thought that I was going to scream a very bad word. And yeah, let's just say that would not have been pretty, and also I would have been written up a second time for specifically the use of foul language, meaning I have problems trying to control my mouth. I say without thinking. I think I explained this in like a live stream like a few weeks ago where I explained how I got written up for the first time. Um, but yeah, so while that was happening, um, after like everything was like seemingly slowly starting to settle down, I felt a little bit stressed. So I had walked outside. I basically decided to walk outside, and I don't know why. As I walked outside, I felt something inside me, and basically out loud, I said a very bad word. Now, I'm not condoning to this behavior, and I don't condone to swearing or anything like that. I don't think swearing is really a good thing. But in that very moment, I had no self-control. And luckily, I had walked outside thinking, okay, no one's gonna hear me. I walked outside and basically I thought no one was gonna hear me, and basically I had said a bad word very loudly. But I was hoping that none of my employees, or not employees, none of my coworkers would hear me. So when I had said it out loud, I had turned aside and I realized a few feet away from me there was a family, and I looked at them, and luckily they didn't see me, and I turned around, ran back inside, and I was just like, I just said a bad word out loud near a family with their children. Let that sink in. Now, like I said, I don't condone to swearing, and obvious because it's a nasty habit that I'm sure not just I, but you and everyone else, uh, we're not fond of saying. But I will say this though, it is without a doubt I was very stressed out this morning that I felt like my brain was going 100 miles an hour. And I had one moment actually where I explained this. I believe it was a few months ago where I went to work and I experienced something that was called autopilot, where basically I think it was like, you were in control of your own body, and that's what happened to me. I was that event that took place a few months ago, basically I had experience where like it felt like my mind and my body weren't exactly intact with each other. And that's in like a live stream that I don't remember which one. You may want to go check them all, but a lot of them are like very long. So most of the live streams are pretty long. So you may want to hedge your bets. Okay, but yeah. So after that had happened, I just decided, you know what? We're closed. We're good. I'm gonna get a muffin because thank the Lord I am allowed to eat what I make, but I didn't want to eat any of the food. So I had walked in, got a muffin, then started cleaning like crazy. I cleaned up everywhere and then tried to restock some stuff for the next day for my coworker to hopefully not have to restock. But if I missed a few things, then obviously I feel bad about it. But yeah. I cleaned, then I left. I came home, had lunch at a place called Jaggers. If you don't know what Jaggers is, it's basically just like a chicken place that serves like chicken sandwiches, cheeseburgers, chicken tenders, and salads. So, yeah. And then I took a little nap, and that's what happened. Sorry about the lighting. It literally just got dark here. So yeah, so pretty much that had all happened to me. Oh look, now we're back with the brightness. So all of that had happened to me in the span of 3 days. Yeah. I love your videos. Aw, thank you so much, cute catnip. Thank you for supporting. Yeah, I do have another short video that's going to be posted tomorrow. So get ready for another one. I am trying to figure out how to get one video. I do have a video that I am planning on trying to figure out to release, but the problem is I also need to finish editing it, and it is taking so much time to edit. Ugh. And the only thing is, I don't know if I should do it as like a part one or part two because it's a two-part video, really. Or specifically, it's a 2 day video where, yeah. But I'm still editing it, and hopefully I can release it sometime soon. Hopefully, maybe in August, maybe the first day of August. I don't know. But yeah, so I am trying to figure out how to do that. Editing's definitely taking a while, and yeah. So that's pretty much what's going on right now. Yeah. Also, I will let's see what else is going to be going on. Okay. So, I am also trying recently I had put out more short videos recently, and I'm trying to stay consistent with posting my make it a full video. Yeah, I am trying to plan to make a full video. Basically what it is, it's basically I'll just give you a hint of what the video is about. I'll give you a hint. Would you like that? Would you like a hint? Would you like a hint? So this is pretty much the hint of the video. It's trying a new food that I have never tried before. And I had recorded myself trying it. And well, yeah, let's just say I'm still editing it because editing takes so long. Specifically if like I'm guessing like if it's like you are the one that's editing. I mean, I edit all my videos by myself. I do the audios by myself. I edit the videos myself. Yeah, I do all my content editing myself. I have no one that does that, mostly because I want to make sure that while I'm editing my videos, it's all me editing and just seeing like edits that I like or want to keep or get rid of. But yeah, it is so hard to stay consistent. But yeah, yeah, but don't worry, I am planning on releasing a full video. Hopefully sometime soon. I would love to release other videos. But as it stands right now, I do have one video that I'm editing and I'm hoping to release sometime soon. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks. I don't know. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, let's see what else. Yeah, so I am gonna get off live here soon, but I do want to say what's gonna be happening. So I am going to, okay, so I have a new short video. I have a new short video that will be posted tomorrow. So get ready for another short video of me, I don't know, being ridiculous, I guess. Um, and then I'm also going to be going live. I will be going live again as usual on Saturday. So Saturday, I go live every Saturday and Tuesday. So if you want to, make sure you turn on the bell notification so you can be notified when I go live. And yeah, I am still editing a video that hopefully I'll be able to post on here real soon. So that's pretty much all that's been going on right now, a little bit. But yeah, oh yeah, also I'm eating a candy bar. So yeah, I know it's gonna be good. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not putting myself out there too much. I'm not giving myself too many high expectations, but hey, if you want me to post a full video of me trying a new food, then yeah, that would be good content. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's going to be happening. New short video tomorrow, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. And I'm going live on Saturday as I normally do. And if you want to, you can also follow me on TikTok. I do go live on TikTok every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you want to see me go live on TikTok, then my TikTok link should be in my description, my description on my channel. So yeah. Yeah, that seems to be about it for today's live stream. Uh, yeah. I just one more thing. I just want to say thank you all so much. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Oh, I don't have TikTok. Oh, but don't worry then. I always go live twice a week. So if you want to, So if you want to, you can see me go live twice a week, okay? Okay? Yeah. Well, anyways, that is it for today's live stream. Again, thank you so much to everyone who has joined my live today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and or night. I hope you all stay safe. I hope you all stay well. And I hope you all enjoy the content that I love putting out on here and enjoy making for you guys and entertaining you all. Sorry, I got distracted. A lot of commotion going on outside this room, outside the door. But yeah, that is it for today's live stream. And as always, please take care, stay safe, and I will see you, you beautiful, smart, talented, amazing person this Saturday again when I go live. So don't forget to hit the bell notification, and if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. It's free, and you can always change your mind after. Okay? Well, that's it for today's live. Thank you all so much for joining, and I will see you all on Saturday. But until then, take care and stay safe. Mwah. Oh yeah, and that's also if you're new here, I pretty much blow like a kiss to the camera to you guys. So, mwah. Okay. Well, hopefully that's not weird. If it's weird, I'll stop. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, yep. Yep. See you. See you all, okay? And like I said, as always, take care, stay safe, and see you next time. Take care.